Hi, it's Betty Plus Books, and today I'm going to be talking about the Supernatural Enhancements by Edgar Cantero. This is a horror mystery in which our two main characters, Neve and A, inherit a house from a distant relative and go to live in it and investigate it. When they get to the town where this house is, they talk to a bunch of neighbors who talk about rumors that the house is haunted. As they explore the house, they come across all sorts of things that make them think that this distant relative was part of some secret society and imply that he was really into riddles and puzzles. This book goes really deep into those riddles and puzzles that Uncle Ambrose left for his friends, but the main characters are finding and investigating. And so that's a lot of fun. Also, as they go through those puzzles, they really show how the main characters are solving those puzzles and getting the reader involved with solving those puzzles along with them. I also really enjoyed how atmospheric this book is. It's very descriptive in the house and the scenery, and many of the sections are dream sequences, which are really masterfully imagined and vividly described, and they really incorporate with the story in ways that you wouldn't expect. I felt like the horror aspects of this book were definitely there. There was an inkling of the house being haunted, but I felt like the mystery was at the front and center, and surprisingly, the ghost story wasn't really at the forefront of that mystery. This might be a nice way for someone who's interested in horror but doesn't want the whole book to be scary to kind of dip their toes in with a couple of scenes. I felt like the horror scenes were really visceral, and one of them I read right before bed and it did kind of freak me out. So it's not that it's not scary, it's just that those scary horror ghost moments are interspersed throughout the book rather than it being the entire book. Finally, I just really liked the character of Neve. I felt like the character of A was kind of so-so. He was okay. But Neve was really cool. She's kind of this punk teenage girl. She's mute, but she has like a lot of ways that she communicates. In other ways, she writes everything down and she is very expressive and interesting, and I liked her a lot. This book does have a couple of downsides. One of not really the downsides of this book, but just something I wish it had, was I kind of wanted a side booklet with all of the different drawn out puzzles and maps and things like that to be able to more directly interact with the puzzles. Like, they kind of give you this idea of like, oh, we found out this thing, and that means this is the key to kind of this puzzle, and here's how you solve it. I would like to have just been able to do that on my own on paper because I'm a nerd, but in order to do that, I would have had to either write in my book, which I'm not a fan of, or copy everything down, which would have taken a long time, so I'm, I guess, not that big of a nerd. But yeah, I really just wanted to be able to do the puzzles myself because I thought that would be fun. But it's a book and not supposed to be necessarily a puzzle book, so it's fine. That's not really a downside. What I didn't like is that Neve is a teenager in this book and A is 23, and they're not related. She's an orphan from Ireland, and I guess someone he knows like kind of took her in and raised her, and he tries to be like very gentlemanly and appropriate with her the whole time, but I still feel like the relationship is just kind of on the edge of appropriateness. Like, I think she's 17, so it's like borderline with a 23-year-old, but it's a little icky. And I guess at the very end, when they're wrapping everything up, there are a couple of details that I would have liked a little more explanation on, but I thought they did a pretty good job overall. So to me, this book was kind of like an escape room in a book. So if you're into escape rooms and puzzles, I would recommend checking this out. Obviously, it's a horror book, so there are some like ghosty, horror, scary things in here. I gave the warning about the borderline appropriate relationship, and besides that main relationship, there's also definitely some sexual assault of minors in this book, and that's like a hard line for some people, so definitely be aware of that. There's also some body horror in this book and descriptions of people getting hurt and harmed by other people and just by accident in ways that are kind of gruesome. This is my second read through of this book, and I actually enjoyed it more the second time around than the first time. I was really looking for stuff to paint in this book this time, which I think enhanced my experience. I kind of noticed how much imagery there is in this book when I was reading it because I was trying to tab it up and I used all the tabs I had left, so I had to go to paper clips, and then I had used all the paper clips I had by like midway through the book. So then I just read through the rest of the book not notating things. I figure I have enough to figure out something to paint in the first half. I started this book at like midnight on the 1st of October and then finished it before noon on the 2nd of October. So I went through it really fast. It is about 350 pages. A lot of those pages are very sparse because they're transcripts or they have like large pictures on them. The print is pretty large and widely spaced throughout the book, so it's a fast read for the number of pages it has. So I really enjoyed this book. I will be painting a bookmark for it for Bookmark Bookmark Mondays. I'll be splitting up my reviews and my Bookmark Mondays now, just so that if my bookmark has a spoiler, then you don't have to avoid the whole review in order to watch that video. And just if you're interested in one and not the other, you can just watch one and not the other. So that's it for my review of the Supernatural Enhancements. I hope you enjoyed this review and that it helped you decide whether or not you want to read the book. Please let me know in the comments down below if there's anything else you'd like to know about this book before going into it, since it is kind of scary and has some triggers for some people. Thank you for watching this video. If you subscribe, you'll see new videos from me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So until next time, happy reading. Why are outros so hard?